What if I told you that the world of Bleach is far more complex than just Soul Reapers and Hollows? That's right, the world of Bleach isn't just about epic battles and sword clashes, although those are freaking awesome, let's be real. We are talking about an entire universe built on intricate lore, ancient conflicts, and secrets hidden across realms. But how does it all connect? In this video, we are bringing it all together and breaking down the intricate lore of Bleach right here in one place for your convenience. If you enjoy our Bleach content and you want to see more in the future, make sure you hit that like button and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to be notified next time we upload an epic anime video, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. Quick thank you to Honor of Kings for sponsoring this video. Honor of Kings is the world's most popular 5v5 mobile multiplayer online battle arena game with over 374 million registered users worldwide. Choose your hero, fight alongside your teammates, and destroy the enemy base to win honor and glory in this epic game that is free to play on both Android and iOS. I know that a lot of you guys are big fans of Jujutsu Kaisen because we covered it for years on this channel. And I'm excited to announce that Honor of Kings is now hosting a special collab event with JJK. That's right, between March 20th and April 16th, you can participate in the JJK main event and complete event puzzles to earn Jujutsu skins and Jujutsu expressions, including the Cathy Guiguzi Skin for free. Relive the glory and memory of JJK by playing as Cathy, the adorable cursed corpse. All you have to do is complete in-game tasks and you can unlock this and other exclusive rewards for free. Try it out for yourself, link in the description and in the pinned comment. Between April 1st and April 17th, Honor of Kings is launching the Dreamscape Brawl Entertainment mode, so don't miss it. Want to see the base transform into a cursed spirit and join the battle in this intense 5v5 gameplay? Just download Honor of Kings for free, link in the description and in the pinned comment, and check out the ongoing events, the epic rewards, and of course the brand new Cathy Guiguzi Skin. Now without further ado, let's jump into the video, spoilers and all. The world of Bleach. To understand Bleach, we first need to grasp its universe. Everything revolves around different realms of existence. At the start of Bleach, Rukia Kuchiki explains the universe's structure and why beings like her exist. She talks about how the Shinigami keep balance in the world. In the 1000-year Blood War arc, we discover the origins of this structure and the terrible actions taken to keep it all intact. Long ago, the universe was nothing but chaotic, endless waters where life and death were the same. An entity called the Soul King used his power to create order out of chaos. He split the chaos into 3 separate realms, each for different kinds of souls, and this created the cycle of life and death. These realms are the human world, where living people reside, Hueco Mundo, home to hollows who are lost and dangerous souls, and the Soul Society, which is essentially the afterlife. Between these realms lies the Dangai, also called the Precipice World. This is an empty corridor-like space that connects the human world and Soul Society. The Dangai is outside normal space and time and is part of a larger void called Garganta, which exists between all the realms. The human world, also known as the world of the living, is where souls, known as pluses, are born as humans. After living out their lives, these souls are guided to the Soul Society to wait for their next reincarnation. However, if a soul doesn't make it back to the Soul Society, it risks becoming corrupted. This can happen if a soul is attacked by hollows or if the soul itself gives in to sadness and negative emotions. The human world is where Karakura Town is located. It's a hotspot for strange supernatural events because it lies on the Jureichi, a special area with a high concentration of spiritual beings. The human world actually has less spiritual energy, also called Reishi, compared to the other 2 worlds, Soul Society and Hueco Mundo. Shinigami are often sent to the human world to guide the pluses or souls of those who have passed away over to the Soul Society. And sometimes they are also sent to defeat hollows in order to protect both living humans and pluses from hollow attacks. Shinigami can stay inside the human world for a set amount of time while doing these duties. But Shinigami must be careful because their spiritual energy, or Reiryoku, can affect humans if they don't control it properly. For example, Ichigo Kurosaki's uncontrolled power ended up awakening abilities in his friends. Because of this, Shinigami are generally forbidden by Soul Society's laws from harming or interfering with humans. High-ranking Shinigami, like captains or lieutenants, have their powers limited when visiting the human world. This limiter seals up to 80% of their strength so they don't accidentally influence people. In emergencies, the limiter can be removed to allow them to fight at full power. As I said earlier, the Soul Society is essentially the afterlife of this world, a vast realm where souls go to rest after they die. Or I guess it's more accurate to say that this is the afterlife for all the normal souls. The Soul Society is run by the Soul Reapers and Central 46, who have more spiritual energy and power than regular citizens. Some noble families, like the Kuchiki and Shihoin clans, also have influence here. When people die, Soul Reapers guide their souls to the Soul Society. Pluses often don't find their human families in the afterlife, so they create new, found families. However, some souls are born into the Soul Society and live their whole lives there. In the world of Bleach, life and death are all part of a big cycle that involves reincarnation. Many souls are born in the living world, they die, and then they go to the Soul Society, and then they will be reborn again as humans eventually. Soul Reapers are there to make sure this cycle runs smoothly, and they help to balance all the realms. Because managing all these souls is such a big job, leaders at Central 46 are slow to change or modernize the system. Most of the Soul Society is the Rukongai district, where ordinary souls live after they die. It has neighborhoods ranging from safe and comfortable areas to dangerous ones, like the rough 80th district, Zaraki, where Kenpachi Zaraki grew up. Life in Rukongai is simple and resembles what historical Japan once looked like, which is reflective of the Soul Society's conservative and traditional ways. At the heart of the Soul Society is the Seidate, a protected area where Soul Reapers and Central 46 work. The Seidate is the headquarters for the 13 squads of the Soul Reapers, known as the Gotei 13. It shares the old Japanese style of architecture of Rukongai, with traditional buildings, food, and art. Important places in the Seidate include the Shino Academy, where new Soul Reapers train, and Sokyoku Hill, where major events like Rukia's near execution and Ichigo's battle with Byakuya Kuchiki took place. The third major world in Bleach is Huecomundo, a desert realm where Hollows and Arankars live. Hollows are souls that have turned into monsters, and Arankars are stronger Hollows who have gained human-like forms. Huecomundo's residents can enter the human world if they need to, but they usually stay in their own realm. To get there, one must use a Garganta, a special portal that Arankars can open whenever they want. Unlike the Soul Society, Huecomundo has no government or rules. It is a harsh world where only the strongest survive, and leaders rule by sheer power, not through elections or family ties or any intricate system. Huecomundo is mostly an endless white desert with a still moon and strange, lifeless trees. It's always nighttime there, which matches the hopeless and dark nature of its inhabitants. Hollows and Arankars are creatures filled with despair, and the unchanging night reflects their sadness. One important place in Huecomundo is Las Noches, a massive fortress and the center of power for the realm. No one knows who built it, but it serves as a headquarters for whoever is in charge. Las Noches is like a giant dome covering a desert, with smaller buildings on the inside. It's also the home for Aizen's army of Arankars, including the Espadas, who each have their own palace there. Some Espadas used their palaces for special purposes, like Grant's, who turned his into a laboratory. Huecomundo is obviously a dangerous place where Hollows fight and eat each other in order to grow stronger. Unlike the Soul Society, regular souls almost never end up here, so Hollows focus on battling one another. For example, before becoming an Arankar, Grimmjow was part of a small group who devoured hundreds of Hollows to gain power and reach the level of an Ajuchas. Huecomundo is home to all three classes of Menos Grande: Gillians, which are basic and slow, Ajuchas like Grimmjow, and the very rare Vasto Lorde, such as Tyr Harabel and Barragan. For most of its history, Huecomundo was a brutal but isolated place where Hollows and Arankars fought amongst themselves. But during the 1,000-year Blood War arc, the Quincy army invaded. The invasion caught Huecomundo's residents off guard, and the Quincy easily defeated them, capturing and killing many Hollows and Arankars. Even Las Noches was damaged, though the details of how this happened remain unclear. At that time, Tyr Harabel was Huecomundo's queen and protector, but she was no match for the Quincy leader, Yuhavach. Yes, that is apparently how it's pronounced Yuhavach, although I have heard it pronounced like 100 different ways by 100 different people. Anyway, Harebell stayed behind and allowed herself to be captured so that the others could escape. As mentioned earlier, the Dangai is a special corridor that connects the human world, Huecomundo, and the Soul Society. It is part of the larger void called Garganta, a mysterious place where time flows differently. This area is dangerous because of a unique entity called the Kototsu, also known as the Cleaner. Every 7 days, the Kototsu sweeps through the Dangai, destroying anything that doesn't belong there. Its job is to keep the space safe and prevent enemies of the Soul Society from using the Dangai as a hideout. The Kototsu moves with a powerful flow of energy that traps anything in its path, making it nearly impossible to escape. Because of how dangerous it is, people avoid traveling through the Dangai when the Kototsu is around. Despite this, Sosuke Aizen, one of the strongest and most cunning characters in Bleach, managed to destroy the Kototsu and survive, showing just how powerful he truly is. Finally, let's talk about another realm, Hell. Hell is a special place in the world of Bleach where the most wicked souls are sent as punishment. These are people who were extremely evil when they were alive, and sometimes even Soul Reapers or Arankars can end up there if their sins were too great or their power is too dangerous. Not much is actually known about Hell since it's only briefly mentioned in the story. We know that it's home to strange creatures called the Beasts of Hell, which don't give off spiritual energy, and this makes them especially scary and hard to detect. When someone is sent to Hell, 2 giant doors decorated with skeletons appear. These doors open and pull the guilty soul inside. Once someone is dragged into Hell, it's almost impossible to escape. I mean, I bet Frieza could do it, but that's a story for another day. Being in Hell changes spirits forever, altering how they look and even their powers. Unlike souls in the Soul Society, which can be reborn into the human world, souls in Hell are stuck there forever and they can never rejoin the cycle of life and death. Now that we've discussed the world of Bleach, let's talk about the different races that make up that world and their unique powers, and let's start with the humans. Most humans have no idea about the dangers posed by hollows and other evil spirits. Hollows will often target their own loved ones first, then they move on to attack pluses, wandering souls, and humans with spiritual powers. When a hollow or even a Shinigami attacks a living human, it can cause serious harm or even force their soul out of their body. If the chain of fate, which connects the soul to the body, isn't broken, Shinigami can use special magic called Kido to fix the damage. Shinigami are not allowed to harm humans unless they are ordered to, and they usually focus on protecting humans from hollows. But some Shinigami look down on humans, even though most souls, including Shinigami themselves, were once human. A very small number of humans are born with a lot of spiritual energy called Reiryoku. These high-spec humans can see and interact with spirits and other spiritual objects. In even rarer cases, high-spec humans gain special powers, either naturally or through an outside event. These powers can help them protect themselves and others from hollows and other spiritual threats. Now, the Quincy are one of the strongest groups in Bleach. The Quincy are spiritual humans who can sense hollows and other souls. Their powers come from Yuhavach, their founder. Over 200 years ago, most of the Quincy were wiped out because they were hunting too many hollows. The Quincy are the opposite of Soul Reapers. While Soul Reapers control the balance of souls between the human world and the Soul Society, the goal of the Quincy is to completely destroy hollows. But if the hollows were wiped out entirely, the balance of the spiritual worlds would break, causing everything to collapse. That's why the Soul Reapers had to stop the Quincy. The Quincy have the ability to absorb and control reishi, which are the spiritual particles found in the air, and they use this energy to create weapons. Quincy gather reishi from the atmosphere and combine it with their inner energy called Reiryoku to make powerful tools. They are actually stronger in places like the Soul Society or Huecomundo, where there's more reishi in the air. For powerful Quincy, there's no difference between using reishi from the air or their own energy. Their overpowered ability gives them access to many different types of attacks and defenses. Quincy are known for creating magical weapons, often bows and arrows, by gathering reishi. Their ability to fire arrows depends on their stamina and how well they can absorb energy from their surroundings. Now, Fullbringers are a special group of humans who are born with the ability called Fullbring. This power lets them control the souls inside physical objects. Unlike most other humans, Fullbringers are spiritually aware, meaning they can sense the energy of spirits like hollows, shinigami, and other Fullbringers. What makes Fullbringers different is that their powers come from a unique past. Each Fullbringer has a parent who survived a hollow attack before they were born. The hollow's power stayed in their parent's body and was passed on to the child. Because of this, Fullbringer's abilities are more like a hollow's powers than a shinigami's. Fullbring allows these people to control the souls inside all matter. Everything, even things like chairs or lampposts, have a soul, even if it's very small. Fullbringers can pull on the soul of an object to make it move or change its shape. For example, they could pull on the soul of a drink to make it float into their mouth, or walk on water by pulling on its soul to keep them above the surface. The possibilities are endless with this power, but because Fullbringers use their bodies to control objects, they need to train their stamina to use their abilities properly. All Fullbringers are born with this power, but they don't always realize it right away. When they die, their abilities vanish from the human world, but they do take it with them into the afterlife. As I said before, after a human dies in the world of the living, they become a spiritual being called a soul or a plus. While most souls are people who died in the human world, some souls can also be born in the soul society. Souls or pluses are the friendly spirits in the human world. They are the souls of people who have passed away. A chain called the Chain of Fate connects their chest to their old body. If the chain breaks, the soul can no longer return to its body, but it can move freely. However, if the chain breaks completely, the soul starts to corrode and eventually becomes a hollow. If a plus has no regrets or ties to the human world, they are called a fuyure or floating spirit. But a jibakure is a spirit that can't leave the human world because it regrets leaving something behind. For example, the spirit might stay attached to a place and refuse to move on to the soul society. Jibakure are more likely to be attacked by a hollow eventually because they are stuck in one place, making it easier for the hollows to find them. Sometimes it can take months or years for a jibakure to turn into a hollow. A tsukire is similar to a jibakure, but instead of being tied to a place, they are bound to a person. The chain of fate wraps around that person, keeping the spirit stuck in the human world because of their attachment. Now, since we're talking about hollows a lot, they are of course corrupt human souls that never cross over into the soul society. They mostly live in Huecomundo, but travel to the human world to eat the souls of both the living and the dead. Like the Shinigami, hollows are made of spiritual energy and can't be seen by normal humans. Most hollows can be defeated by regular Shinigami, but some are so strong that even elite Shinigami struggle to beat them. When a soul becomes a hollow, the process takes a long time, often months or years. It starts when a soul's chain of fate, which is attached to their chest, begins to decay. The chain's decay is a sign that the soul is losing its connection to the living world. If the chain breaks completely, the soul transforms into a hollow. This causes a hole to appear in the chest where the chain once was. Hollows wear masks made from their lost hearts. These masks hide their true selves and protect them from their instinctual desires. The masks are always white and skull-like, but they can break, revealing the hollow's original identity. After the mask heals, the hollow returns to its true form. Once a soul becomes a hollow, it's driven by an endless hunger for other souls. At first, they hunt souls they knew when they were human, but eventually they lose their mind and start attacking any soul. Stronger hollows keep some of their intelligence, making them more dangerous. Hollows also have special abilities, and the strongest ones can steal energy from the environment. To kill a hollow, you must break its mask. When a Shinigami does this, the hollow is purified and sent to the Soul Society as a plus. But if the hollow did really bad things when it was human, it might be dragged to hell. Now, if a Quincy kills a hollow, it destroys the soul completely, no more reincarnation ever again, and this can really mess up the balance of the worlds. Most hollows are just souls that became corrupt, but some become much more powerful and form a group called Menos Grande. Menos are made when many hollows combine into one. The first stage of Menos, called Gillian, is big and strong but not very smart. A powerful Shinigami can defeat one without problem. Sometimes, one of the hollows inside a Gillian can take control, making it stronger and smarter. These hollows can evolve into a second stage called Ajuchas. Ajuchas are smaller and smarter than Gillians and are tough enough to fight captain-level Shinigami. They must keep eating other hollows to stay strong, or they will revert back to Gillians. The final stage of Menos is called Vasto Lorde. These are incredibly rare and strong, said to be as powerful as the strongest Shinigami captains. There are so few Vasto Lordes that their numbers can be counted on the fingers of one hand. Arrancar are powerful beings who were once hollows but evolved after breaking part of their hollow mask. When they shatter their mask, they regain their ability to think. Sometimes they will change back into a human-like shape, and they will gain new powers, like the ability to wield a Zanpakuto, which is a sword similar to the ones used by Shinigami. Aizen, using a special device called the Hogyoku, created even stronger Arrancar. Some of these, like Stark and Ukiura, are extremely powerful, but most of these Arrancar were assigned numbers by Aizen and are known as the Espada, the top-ranked Arrancar. While many Arrancar have their own personalities, most share traits like being cold, cruel, arrogant, and ruthless. Some follow Aizen because they believe he can give them more power, while others do so out of respect. Like Shinigami, Arrancar have many different combat skills, and their power is sealed inside their sword. When an Arrancar releases their sword, they unlock their full power and change into a more powerful form. This release, called Resurrección, is activated with a special command and the name of their sword. Once an Arrancar completes this release, their injuries are healed and they gain new abilities. Most Arrancar take on an animal-like appearance after releasing their sword, though not all of them, and some even gain new weapons. In this new form, the Arrancar becomes much stronger, faster, and tougher. They also gain access to new abilities and more powerful versions of their old ones. This transformation makes them much more dangerous in battle, and it shows how closely their released form connects to their hollow origins. Now, of course, we've mentioned the Soul Reapers or Shinigami many times already, but let's discuss them specifically as a race. In the world of Bleach, they are spirit warriors who protect the world of the living by dealing with dangerous spirits called hollows. Though they look human, Soul Reapers aren't actually human. They live much longer, age slower, and have stronger spiritual powers. They can only be seen by those with spiritual abilities. Regular humans cannot even see them. Soul Reapers have important jobs like performing Konso, a ritual where they send spirits to either the Soul Society or to Hell, depending on how they lived. They also cleanse hollows, turning them back into peaceful souls that can go to the Soul Society and eventually be reborn. Shinigami make sure spirits move between the two worlds correctly and balance the number of souls. To become a Shinigami, a soul with great spiritual energy must train their body. Most Shinigami are born in the Seirete, but a few come from the Rukongai. Like workers in the human world, Shinigami get paid and can earn rewards for defeating hollows, and it's rare for Shinigami to retire from their duties. Every Shinigami has special vents at their wrists to release their spiritual energy, Reiyatsu. If these vents are blocked, their own energy could destroy them, and if a Shinigami's soul chain is broken, they may lose their powers forever. Shinigami fight using a combination of techniques called Zankensoki, which includes sword fighting, Zanjutsu, hand-to-hand combat, Hakuda, fast movements, Hoho, and magic spells, Kido. Most Shinigami carry a Zanpakuto, a sword that is a reflection of their soul. This sword can cut through spiritual bodies like hollows. Each Zanpakuto is unique and based on its owner's power and personality. It has a spirit inside that can communicate with the Shinigami. To unlock their Zanpakuto's full abilities, a Shinigami must learn its name and form a bond with the sword. When a Zanpakuto is released, it transforms, becoming much stronger and giving the Shinigami access to new powers. The first transformation is called Shikai, and the second, even stronger transformation is called Bankai. Shinigami use Shikai to release their Zanpakuto's abilities, and they must learn special commands to do this. Reaching Bankai is the ultimate achievement for a Shinigami. It takes years of training to control the Zanpakuto spirit, and when it is mastered, it grants them great power. Or I should say it takes years of training unless you are the protagonist. Shinigami also use their skills for close combat, or Hakuda, and speed Hoho, including Shunpo, flash steps, for quick movements. They use magic spells or Kido for attack and defense, and strong Shinigami can cast powerful spells even without saying the incantations. Now, a substitute Shinigami is a human who gains Shinigami powers either by getting the powers of another Shinigami or by going through a dangerous process to transform themselves into one. To take a Shinigami's power, they must stab the Shinigami sword, Zanpakuto, into their chest. But as you might imagine, this is very risky and has a low chance of success. If it works, the person gets about half of the Shinigami's power, but only for a short time. The Soul Society does not actually allow humans to take Shinigami powers. For someone like Ichigo, becoming a substitute Shinigami brings many problems. To fight as a Shinigami, he has to leave his human body and enter a spirit form. He can do this by using something called a Gokonteko, or soul candy. When Ichigo's spirit leaves his body, someone has to take care of his body until he returns. When a substitute Shinigami is needed, the Soul Society gives them a special badge. This badge helps the Soul Society keep track of the substitute's actions. The badge also helps the substitute know if a hollow is nearby by making a sound only the user can hear. The badge is invisible to normal people but can be seen by those with spiritual powers, and this badge also allows the soul to leave the body. Gikon, or artificial souls, are special souls created by Shinigami scientists. These souls are used to separate a Shinigami spirit from a Gigai, a body they sometimes use, or to remove stubborn spirits from corpses. The process for making and using these souls was invented by Kiryo Hikifune. The idea behind Gikon is to inject energy into a person's body, allowing that energy to turn into their own power. Artificial souls are used by taking a special pill called Gikongan, or soul candy. When someone takes the pill, it forces their soul out and lets the artificial soul take control. The artificial soul will then act in a set way until the Shinigami removes it. These souls can be used in bodies with no soul, both living and dead, or even in things like stuffed animals. Each artificial soul has its own personality, which can be made to fit specific needs. The soul candy name was chosen because the Shinigami Women's Association wanted a cuter name. It's usually found in toy dispensers shaped like cartoon characters. These dispensers come in different styles, and some are more popular than others. An artificial soul's personality often matches the character on the dispenser. Now, modified souls were created through Project Spearhead, a plan to help balance the numbers between Shinigami and Hollows, since Hollows usually outnumber Shinigami. These so-called mod souls have different abilities, such as one being able to run much faster than a normal human or just being much stronger. For example, Kon, the mod soul that ended up with Ichigo, has enhanced leg strength, so he's considered an underpod type of mod soul. Mod souls, like regular artificial souls, are shaped into small candy-like orbs. Originally, they were meant to be placed into corpses to serve as soldiers to fight against hollows. Because of this, mod souls are more independent than regular artificial souls. But the experiment was eventually stopped for ethical reasons, so the rest of the mod souls were destroyed. Nevertheless, Kon accidentally mixed with a batch of normal artificial souls and was sent to Kisuke Uraraha's shop. And this is where Rukia and Ichigo eventually found him and let him loose. Despite orders to get rid of all the modified souls, they kept Kon and put him inside a lion plushie. Rukia and Ichigo use Kon to help fight as a Shinigami whenever Ichigo's soul is outside his body. The Visored are a group of Shinigami who have gained hollow powers. By putting on special masks, they can use hollow abilities while still keeping their Shinigami powers. This gives them a big boost in strength, speed, and stamina. Their masks are undamaged and cover their heads, unlike the cracked masks of the Arrancar. When wearing their masks, the Visored stay fully in control of themselves. That said, using masks does have limits. Each Visored can only wear their mask for a certain amount of time, usually about 3 minutes after training for 100 years. More training can improve this limit, but it's not clear by how much. The process of combining Shinigami and hollow powers is called hollowification. To do this, a hollow merges with a Shinigami soul and Zanpakuto. This fusion changes their spiritual energy, making it a mix of Shinigami and hollow. The Visored used to be high-ranking Shinigami, like captains and lieutenants, but they were eventually labeled criminals by the Soul Society for breaking the rules and willingly gaining hollow powers. Even so, they don't hold a grudge against the Soul Society, though they no longer consider themselves a part of it. Instead, they act as a loose group with no leader, focusing on their own goals. When the Visored first meet Ichigo, they seem distant and only loyal to each other. However, they later show they are willing to help in the fight against Aizen and the Arrancar. During the battle at the fake Karakura town, the Visored make it clear that they are enemies of Aizen and allies of Ichigo. A Zanpakuto spirit is a special part of a Shinigami's soul. Its look and powers reflect the personality and strength of its master. The spirit and its master are connected. They are born and die together. While the Shinigami and their spirit share a deep bond, the spirit's power is its own. When a Shinigami uses this power along with their own, their Zanpakuto becomes even stronger. The spirit lives inside the Shinigami's inner world, a place tied to their soul. Each Zanpakuto spirit is unique, with no two looking the same. Their appearance can even change when their master activates Bankai. Though the spirit's personality is shaped by its master soul, it has its own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Sometimes, the spirit's personality can even affect how the Shinigami uses their Zanpakuto in a fight. If a Shinigami wants to learn new techniques or grow stronger, they must prove themselves to their Zanpakuto spirit by battling it first. To grow stronger, a Shinigami must communicate with their Zanpakuto spirit. The most common way to do this is through Jinzen, or sword meditation. During Jinzen, the Shinigami meditates with their Zanpakuto nearby, entering their inner world to meet their spirit. Sometimes, the spirit can pull its master into this inner world or even appear in the real world in order to speak to them. If a Shinigami and their Zanpakuto spirit don't connect, both the Shinigami and the Zanpakuto will lose strength. This bond is essential for unlocking the full power of both. Along with all these races, there are others that appear in other Bleach media such as anime and movie-only content. These additional races include the Toju, who are Zanpakuto spirits who have lost their owners and linger both lost and confused. There are also the Kusanada, who are the guardians of hell, and there are the Togabito, who are the inhabitants of hell, the souls who are trapped in hell as punishment for the sins they committed while they were alive. Blanks are souls who have lost their memories and reside in the Valley of Screams. Blanks are instinctively attracted to memories. And finally, we have the Bounce. The Bounce are a group of humans with strong spiritual energy and special powers. They were accidentally created long ago by Shinigami scientists who were trying to figure out how to make someone live forever. To stay alive, Bounce need to absorb human souls. In theory, they could live forever if they keep doing this. Bounce have a rule to take only the souls of people who have already died. But the last group of Bounce broke this rule and started taking souls from living people to become even stronger. In battle, each Bounce uses a doll. This doll is like a magical partner with its own powers, but the dolls are connected to their owners, and if the doll is destroyed, the owner will also die. Now let's talk about the Soul King. Residing at the center of Bleach's universe, the one who ties all of these realms and races together is the Soul King, a being that keeps the worlds in balance. The Soul King is the most important being in Bleach, as he keeps the balance between the human world, the Soul Society, and Hueco Mundo. A long time ago, there was only one world where humans and spirits all lived together. But then, Hollows were created, and they started devouring souls. To stop them, the Soul King appeared and began destroying the Hollows. This was similar to what the Quincy did. And yet, killing so many Hollows resulted in the world starting to fall apart. The first set of Shinigami, who became the ancestors of the noble families, stepped in and stopped the Soul King. They actually captured him and used his powers to create the three separate worlds, the human world, Hueco Mundo, and Soul Society. To make sure that he doesn't escape and try to stop them, they scattered his body parts around the world and locked him away in a crystal prison in the Soul King Palace, guarded by the Zero Squad. No one knows when exactly this happened, but it was long before the events of the main story began. Needless to say, the Soul King in Bleach is incredibly powerful. His Oken bestowment power allowed him to create the Royal Guards, the Shinigami who protected him. He also had the Almighty ability, which let him see or even change the future. Yuhavach, who called the Soul King his father, also had this ability. The Soul King was responsible for controlling the flow of souls into the Soul Society and was the source of power that kept the three worlds separate. Without this power, the worlds would merge into one once again, which is exactly what Yuhawak wanted to do during the 1,000-year Blood War arc. The Soul King is essentially the glue that keeps the worlds of Bleach together, and he can also be the one that tears it all apart. Now, if the Soul King sounds like an interesting character to you, and believe me, he definitely is, check out this full video about his backstory, powers, and ultimate fate. Just click the link on screen or down in the description right now. Download Honor of Kings for free, link in the description and in the pinned comment, and check out the ongoing events, the epic rewards, and of course the brand new Cathy Guiguzi Skin. If you enjoyed this Bleach video and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like to let me know. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any future Bleach content and other anime content as well.